Yeah, lights on, screens up, here we go. Welcome to Radish Digital's weekly show. Breaking down the plays, the pulls, the plans, straight from the floor of the battle arena stand.
Oh, it's the first time I've seen that image. That's awesome. That's awesome. What's going on, Slappy? Good morning, sir.
Have you done Mrs. Doubtfire yet?
No Mrs. Doubtfire, but we've gotten close. We've done grannies.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, I think that's why in my head I put the Mrs. Doubtfire for you.
Yeah, no, we've done that, and Willy Wonka. Prisoners actually today, so I'm excited for today. That's one of our favorite shows.
Can you explain people the prisoner? So you break under Valley Head House, and you are the costume extraordinaire, and so you dress up as a prisoner with face tats. And why do you do that?
Well, I do that because I was put away for 75 years to life for not pulling a super until now. I still have yet to pull my super. I think I have ripped close to, I don't know, probably 5,000 packs going back to Alpha Update. No super. So there's been a lot of packs ripped. No super to be found. I've pulled a lot of heat, a lot of 1-of-1s, pulled some.
Yeah, how many 1-of-1s? How many 1-of-1s do you think you've ripped?
Probably seven sounds about right. 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 6 or 7, but then I went against that.
Now I know you have a friendly rivalry with Bazooka. And how many 1-of-1s has Devin pulled?
How many supers?
Yeah, how many supers? Sorry, super.
In Griffey, he's pulled 2. I think. No, maybe 3. So I'm falling behind.
Yeah, you're breaking it down by set.
Yeah.
It's interesting is that I really harp on the super auto versus super. I call it super auto, super non-auto. But people generally refer to super. And when we talk about it, I don't hear people delineating that much, right? There's a big difference in valuation. There's a big difference when you hit it. But it's funny because you just said super instead of 1-of-1. But you didn't say you mean super auto and super non-auto. I just find it funny because to me, a super auto is mountains above a super non-auto. And the super non-auto is, I actually put it closer to the secret 1-of-1s than I do a super auto. Still incredibly cool. Still above all the secret 1-of-1s. But the super auto to me, and it doesn't hurt that I actually have hit 2 super autos. I haven't hit a super non-auto yet. But by the way, that's 2 for me and 0 for you.
Thank you. I was keeping track up here. Don't worry.
Can I get in on this action with you and Devin?
Yeah, right.
No, but I just think it's funny is that there is a difference. But when we start talking about it, it's kind of like the same way with Apex. It's funny. I was talking to a community member about explaining what an Apex deck is, and he thought he had to build it and he had to have 200 cards in it. And I get into this with Cursive where we talk about it. There's no such thing as an Apex deck. Apex deck is a spec deck. And you can bulk it up with bonus cards called Apex cards. There's a certain tournament style Apex. But I think people in the community get confused. And by the way, we're talking Bo Jackson Battle Arena, the latest sports card from Bo Jackson Battle Arena and Jeff French. And it's also a game that you can play. It's as simple as war, or you can do substitution, and there are actually even plays. But we're talking about the big tournaments are the Apex tournaments. And I think the community, again, people were shocked last year when I told them, I'm like, no, the team event was war. That's all it was. You didn't have to know anything. Do you know that 140 is bigger than 125? Well, you could have done it then. But people get scared. And so people have to understand the best deck you can get as your base deck in an Apex tournament is 6 115s, 6 120s, all the way up through 6 160s. There's certain rules you can't duplicate heroes, and we won't get into pose and all that, but it's 6 of 115 through 6 of 160. Then the way the Apex operates, and this is what's going to change every year, is you can get 10 bonus cards. Like last year, if you had a foil hot dog, a special type of hot dog, for everyone you had, you can unlock any card you want. You could have put in a 90 card if you wanted, but obviously you wouldn't do that. But you can go up to 250 is the highest there is. It's nobody's going to be playing with the 250, but the 200 is about the highest you're going to see. But again, there are a lot of 175. So those 4 foil hot dogs unlocked 4 Apex cards. Then you could maximize your spec deck, where you have 6 sets of 10 cards. So 10 orange battle foils, 10 rads. And if you have 10 rads, you can unlock an Apex rad. So it can be any rad you want. So that's how you got 10 additional cards. Those are Apex cards. But I just want to clear that up, that there's no Apex deck. It's a spec deck. It's just used in an Apex format. And I'm sick of this, like, Apex and all the playmakers being like, well, they just assume it's like Playmaker. It's like, there's Apex Madness. Like, you have to say it's Apex Playmaker and Apex Madness. Apex Playmaker, you not only have to understand plays and stay up on DBS, you also have to stay up on DBS. Apex Madness, you just need to understand what number is greater than the other. All right, that's my rant on, like, let's get this some clarity in our community, right?
100%. And I will say, I mean, I didn't get to play Apex Madness, but it was the most fun event at the National. I mean, you could just tell just by standing around, being there, it was the most fun. And when people think that you need, like, people think they need 10 200 power extra cards to put in their deck, that's not the case. I mean, you're flipping over cards in a war format. What are the odds that you flip over a 200 Slappy and I flip over a 195 at the same time?
Right.
It's very low. So, like, don't be scared in that regard, because I know everybody has Apex cards out there. It's just about building those parallel sets.
Right.
And then Apex Playmaker, of course, that's a whole other ball game. But we were going to talk about something that has to do with Apex too, I think, weren't we, Slappy? Something about some bow ticket, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we can go either way. You were in Portland, so we can talk about Portland. We can talk about the bow tickets. Which one do you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, first of all, huge shout out to a Valley team member, Mock Shmoo, taking down first place and taking home a N25 bow Apex ticket, which super happy, super proud of him, super proud of the team. Super awesome to see. As far as tickets go, though, you know, he's got a couple now, and so, you know,
he has a couple N25s.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he's got 2, and I think the plan now, obviously, he just won one, but is to lend it out to a teammate, to a team member, so that someone else can play in the Apex tournaments. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that don't necessarily want to play or don't have the cards to play, but they may have the ticket to play. There's a whole ball game going on. And so Frenchie always talks about like a Formula One team type of thing, right? You have the person with all of the cards, and then you have your driver. So just like the car and the driver. And so a lot of people are going down that route too, for those people that are hardcore players, know a lot about the game, whereas another person may just be a collector. But that collector gets an opportunity to use their ticket to not only get a blast box, but that player is also going to be playing in events to where there may be some money to be won. Now, of course, there's compensation to that player, but that's something that's a little bit different from each person. So we had some people do that in the N24.
Well, and let's back up for 1 second, because when you talked about the team concept, so again, we're talking about Bo Jackson Battle Arena. Last year, there was a $100,000 tournament for people who played with their cards. This year, there will be over $300,000 in cash prizes. When you add in all the sealed product, it's going to be over $500,000
easily.
And we're talking about people you have to have an entry to play at the National Card Show. And there are people who love playing who might not have the entry ticket. And it's interesting because you're right. Jeff French talks about the NASCAR kind of racing team model. And it's interesting. We haven't seen, and this is true in Wonders too, we haven't seen the power go to the team owners. Like in the real world, right? The team owners take most of the money. Like they're the ones who are investing. They're the business owner. They're putting up the capital. When, excuse me, when you flip that car over, I mean, they're the ones paying for a new car.
Yeah.
And the car driver gets compensated a lot, but as a percentage, not so much. I think what we've seen so far is it's been pretty even, and even tilted towards the driver somewhat, but I think for the most part, it's like even right down the middle. And I'm curious, Soothing, if you think that's going to change. Like Jeff's a big believer, let markets market. But as people there can only be 99, and we should say the Bo signed autograph in 2024 and 2025, it's one of 99. So there are 99 entry tickets to the most elite tournaments. So it stands to reason, as the pool of players gets bigger and more people play Bo, that the owner will have more power, because now instead of 3 people who want to play or drive for his team, he'll have 3,000 people who want to drive, right? So you should expect to see that go just to be in the turn. Like, can you imagine in 10 years to get selected and be like, dude, you don't have to pay me anything. I just want to be up on the stage. I want to walk in with Cheryl Miller. I want her to walk in with me and introduce. That was for Apex Madness, but we'll see. Like, I'm sure Frenchie, maybe he'll do it for Playmaker, but like, you don't have to pay me anything. I just want to be, be known as like one of the top player in the world. So right. How soon before that shifts and the owners have the power and the players don't?
How soon? I mean, I don't think this year necessarily. I think that it's going to take some more growing of the game, but as the game continues to grow and all of these people who are really, really big alpha collectors, they're going to have that alpha trilogy to kind of hold onto their product and their cards for these new players coming in that don't have as much access to that stuff, right? So that regard, once we're hitting Griffey update and then the next set and then the next set, I think every single set we're going to see that people want to play in these big alpha trilogy events, these Griffey events, whatever it may be, that ideology of the owner of the cards getting a higher stake. Right now, what we're seeing, though, is a mix of a few different things. We see, okay, the owner may have the tickets, but the driver actually has the deck. And
right.
then so, it's like a little bit of a mix. And it's like, well, in that regard, who gets what? But let's say the owner has the ticket and has the cards and the driver is just playing. Well, right. In regard to that, what I've seen is that the owner is getting the blast box, and if there's any money to be won, the driver would get like 30 to 40% of that money, and that's what I've seen. So
and what about promo cards, which are, as we know, the promo cards are huge because those are banger cards with high power in them. So what about promo cards? Who gets that? What have you been seeing?
Well, well, it's funny you mentioned that. We've seen some stuff happen with promo cards and blast boxes in the past. But in like the contracts that I've helped people kind of lay out for what they're trying to do.
Wait, contracts, you mean actual signed legal binding documents that people have done for?
Well, these are hypothetical contracts at the moment, but they will be.
Okay.
They will be signed contracts.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's super important. When it comes to playing and there's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of product involved. I think it's very important to get some sort of something set on paper. And that's not like to scare anyone off. It's to protect yourself and protect the person that you're doing it with, because you guys obviously are going to have a semi-good relationship before you do this. Just have that contract in place so it makes sense, right?
Well, and it's not even protection as much as understanding.
Yeah, understanding for sure. Yeah. So, but with the promo cards, I've seen that either the driver keeps them of the promo cards, but their cash goes down a little bit, or the owner keeps them and the cash goes up a little bit. Or, to be honest with you, most people are really cool in this community. All right. I love this community. So at the end of the day, if we're all just being humans and we're being like real people, and we're friends with each other, I'm sure there's something you can figure out with the promo cards. You're not only going to be walking away with one. I can promise you that, if you're going out there to be a driver. So
there's the everyone gets a participation medal, Mitch, that I know. I wish I had a sound effect for that.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that. I'm just saying, if you consider yourselves friends with the driver versus the owner, you guys are going to figure it out, and you're not going to let that get in the way of your friendship, because at the end of the day, it's just a card game. I love this card game. It's a lot of money. This is an amazing, amazing thing, but this is a place and a community to be built to build friendships, not ruin them. So sorry. That's just my little spiel.
I'm going to see that as a bumper sticker sometime.
Oh, gosh.
This is Soothing Mitch, and I'm Slappy Whyte. This is Bo Jackson Battle Arena This Week in Bo. And so we're talking about everything that happened. Right now we're talking about the national card show where the World Championship for Bo Jackson Battle Arena will be held, talking about the sticky issues that come up when you actually don't have the deck to play, or you don't have the card to play, and the relationships that are created out of that. It's interesting. We've watched Bo Jackson Battle Arena and Wonders of the First kind of grow at the same time. You have the same issue with team owners and drivers and promo cards. And generally speaking, I've seen the players always get the promo cards. Is that it's funny. That's just something that's kind of fallen that way. We're still so early as we see you know, the value of them. Right now, it's just a cool card and it's a high powered card. If it turns out that they start being very valuable, like I mean, I have one of the top 8 cards from Apex Madness in the first year. It's like, I don't know, right? It was everybody on the team. So it's like 40 cards. There's 40 top 8 Apex Madness. So the print runs low. But is that going to be like, if this tournament, you know, is huge in 10 years, people are going to be like, oh my God, it's like the original Apex Madness top 8. And it's $250,000, you know,
Yeah.
Then you'll see real arguments over it. But I think the hard part when you're talking about the contract, and this is what's hard, and you just have to have a clause, is that Jeff French is notorious for just surprising you, always in a good way. Like people, if you're brand new to Bo Jackson Battle Arena, you have to understand what Jeff French, Bo Jackson's partner, does. He is 1,000% behind you. Like, I know that sounds like brainwashed or whatever. Like, dude is like, this is his passion project. And the Blast Box, there was a limited edition box, a set that came out, and they created 750. They did not sell them. They were a thank you to the community for a great year they had. And one of the things they did is they surprised everybody who played Apex Playmaker was given this box. It was a little Lord of the Flies-ish. I'm grateful, but like for the Apex Madness teams, they're like, you'll get one and we're sending it to the captain's house. And that was fascinating to see how the teams reacted to that. Well, it was sent to my house, so it's mine. And it's so the Apex Madness teams ended up getting one. But again, these were just given. So the hard part is when you have many people had a contract signed, an understanding, and some even a contract, how they split things up. But then Frenchie drops this bomb and says, oh, and by the way, for folks watching this Bo Jackson Battle Arena, you might not know this, but the Blast actually was, I think the top eBay sale was $9,400 or $9,200. So we're talking about a $9,000 freebie that was given to you. And of course, now all of a sudden, people are like, the team owner and the driver are like, well, I guess I shouldn't say this. It's more like, that's mine. And so you never know what Jeff French and Bo Battle Arena is going to give you next year that you weren't expected. And there was one instance in the community, right? Soothing, where that wasn't included in their contract. So it was a little bit of a difficult situation because they hadn't agreed ahead of time, and $10,000 can do a lot to people.
Yeah, for sure. That did happen. It was quite the experience when it was happening in the community, but not gonna name any names or anything like that. But it was 2 prevalent people in the community, and you know, stuff like that. Like I said, you got to make sure, just like Slappy said, you got to put clauses in that contract because you never know what Jeff's gonna do. And you know, they had some stuff in there, but you know, at the end of the day, be prepared for it. And you know, good extra things are always good. Don't make them bad.
Yeah,
extra things are good. Don't make them bad.
That's a great way to put it. And we should stress is that, you know, when I was my first house out in Vermont, we rented out. It was 3,000 square feet, and it was split. And so we always rented out the other half. And so my lease started out one way, and then I would have somebody renting, and I'm like, oh, I really should add that for the next person. Then I would add it. And then like when they'd leave, I was like, oh, I should really add that. So we should say for these 2 members of the community who are hugely active, very, very good community members, is that they are kind of the warning to others through no fault of their own. Because again, going into this is the first time, like it's like the first time you had that 10, like, oh, I didn't think about that. For the next person, I'm going to put it in. So they're kind of a good warning to other people. And I would not have thought of that, just like they wouldn't have, but use their experience now to put it in stone. So that way you can actually do it. Like I often think, like, I think the clause I'd put in that anything that's not announced, that's announced after, goes to, because the thing is, you can't do shares, because a lot of times, like, you can't,
box, you can't just rip it open and pass it packs.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know,
but it loses its value, right?
Right. Well, and you don't even know how many packs are. Like, what if there's only 1 pack that's inside of it? True. So then what are you going to do then? And it just, so anyway, that's for everybody else to decide. But so another issue that I just want to talk about, the N24 and N25, and we are going to talk about that SCG con. It's funny, like looking back now, Mitch, I guess we should have started with the 5-second jumbo sellout. like to keep the audience longer instead of talking about gameplay and Bo Jackson Battle Arena. Probably not. Like we could talk about chess for a few minutes too, and then we'll get to SUV. By the way, is that Card Shark Sniper saying this week in Bo, Soothing still has not pulled a super. It will happen soon. So he's got faith in you.
Love
as long
Card
as
Shark. He's my biggest supporter when it comes to supers.
hopefully when you rip it, it's for him.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. I had a community member reach out to me and wanted to know if I had heard if there was a market for. He has an N24 card to rent it out because he's not going to make it. And the first thing I said is, "What are you doing that you can't make it?" I'm like, "You can make it." I'm like, "Go." And
Be there.
Yeah, I was like, I'm so proud of. There's a longtime community member. Well, anyway, I told this person he should go to the event, but he was asking what it was, what kind of market there was for it. And this is the second person in the last week that I've spoken to who wants to rent out their N24 card. And I'm always, when I hear people say that, I think, I was like, it's not that easy. So first of all, there's 99 N24 cards. Well, there are 99 printed. Who knows how many are actually in circulation. And of those 99, there's some people who will be playing themselves. And then there are other people who have their card, but they can't make it. So if you want somebody to go, there's a couple things. One is you have to be free that weekend. There's somebody who's probably the top 10 most active people in the community. His son has a baseball tournament that ends that Friday. He is taking a flight. I don't think he can do Friday night. So it's going to be Saturday morning, first flight. He's going to go there. If anything happens to that plane, he is not making the Apex tournaments and he will miss it. And so this is one of the most active people in the community. And there's no guarantee you can actually get there. So the value of an N24, N25 card is like, well, everybody should covet it. Well, it's like, well, why can't you make it? Well, because you're busy. Well, there are other people who are busy. All right, well, then the people have to get there. So that it's flights, it's hotels, it's possibly car rental. So now you're talking that's a couple $1,000s. So if I'm going to rent this from you, I have to pay thousands of dollars to go to an event, to use your ticket, to have a chance at something. And we don't know what's going to happen this next year. There's two tournaments that are going to happen this summer at the National Card Show. One is the N24 Alpha tournament for 100,000, and then there's the N25 tournament, which you have to have the Bo N25 card for. I actually think last year I really wanted to be in the Apex Madness tournament because I thought this is the first year. People don't know what's going on. I try to always stay on top of things and let people know who I appreciate everybody who subscribed to Radish YouTube. We try to let you always know what's going on. But always be the first because that's when Frenchie always makes sure to take care of people who are early and who are first. But Soothing, I don't know how much it's going to grow this year. There were 10 teams last year in the Apex Madness, and 8 out of the 10 moved on to the top 8. But there can only be 99 teams, right? Because there's only 99 N24s that were created. But here's the problem. Is that, say, Galileo or Bastaton, they have a massive alpha collection. If they were to leave and decide to move on, or, they've had fun, but it's been 5 years, they don't want any more. When they sell their collection, they can't sell their collection for 200,000. I mean, they could, but there's few buyers. And the easier way is I'm going to sell this piece here and this piece over there. So what happens is it's harder to build that spec deck, that strong Apex deck that you want to play. So I'm curious I think in like another year will be peak for Apex Madness entry. I think more will be there this year. I think more will be there the following year. But I think after that, it might actually go down as the alpha collection gets spread out more because there's only so many 115 through 160s created. And there's only so many Apex decks that have been created. But anyway, that's a long way of saying, getting back to this, I don't see, in terms of renting the Bo card, I mean, what would you say if you were going to somebody who had a Bo 24 card and you were going to play their card? Either you were going to take and let's start with Apex Playmaker. So you're going to be solo. You're playing with plays. You're playing the N24 Apex Playmaker tournament this summer, and you're renting my N24 card, which I don't have. What are you looking at for an agreement?
Am I also using your entire deck, or am I using mine? It's big difference.
You're using your deck.
Using my deck.
Yep.
Okay. If I'm using my deck and all I am is getting that N24 ticket and that person can't even make it to the national, I am doing
Hey, that's me. That's me. This is a scenario. It's me.
Right,
I can't make it.
Okay, you can't make it. I'm doing you just as much of a favor as you are doing me because without me, you're not submitting your card to be played in the event, which means you're not getting the blast box, right? So I think in that regard, you are going to get the blast box because that is what you have the ticket for. But if I'm to go in there with my deck, I use your ticket, you got your blast box, I'm in there, I go and I win first place, let's say, and first place is going to be, it's a portion of the 100,000, right, Slappy? So what was it last year, like $40,000 or something?
Right. It's a complicated formula. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, to be honest with you, if I'm using my entire deck, all of the plays, I've accumulated all that stuff. I just didn't pay that money to get that ticket. I think it would be a more of a split towards the player because the player.
No, don't say more. Give me the percentage and then finish your point. What percentage are you getting of the pool money that you win?
I would say if I'm that person. And I have my entire
stop
deck.
Saying that, but this word, this is
I am the person. I am the person.
I'm the card holder. Yes.
So you own the N24. I own the entire deck. I want 70% of the pot.
Okay, 70%. And who's getting the promo card? Any promo cards, I should say.
I would be getting the promo cards. You would get your blast box. I would get the promo cards. I would get 70% of the cash.
All right. So the only thing I get is blast box and 30% of any prize money you might win.
Right, but all you did was give me the ticket because you couldn't make it.
Yeah,
you didn't give me an entire deck. You didn't give me an entire car.
You couldn't play without my deck. So
That's true.
You're making assumptions though. Like I like how you started by saying like you want the blast box. When did I ever say that I wanted a blast box? Maybe what I want is like I want you to play so I can get the promo cards. You're making a huge assumption.
Hey, you didn't tell me the backstory.
I didn't.
You asked me.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. You just made the assumption.
Fair.
All right. So 70%. And you get the promo cards, and I get blast box and 30%. All right. So listen, Soothing, I got to tell you, not only do I have an N24 card, I also have that I spoke with C-Town in cursive. Excuse me. And I have this blinged out deck. And so like I have all the plays that you want, and it's going to be there for like whatever DBS adjustment happens. It's optimized. So will you play with my card and my deck? And what do you want now?
I would want to play to not have to have anything provided, just get there, right? Use your ticket, use your deck.
Yep.
I think it would be 70-30 and you would get 70, I would get 30. However, on top of that, any travel expenses are paid for off the top of any cash prize winnings.
Whoa. So if all your flights, hotels, it's all covered out of the prize money before we do the 70-30 split.
Yes. But promo cards, blast box, all that stuff, that's yours. You provided everything. You just needed a butt in a seat to play.
Okay.
I think that's fair because if I'm making the trip out there, I shouldn't get stuck with $1,500 in cost and get nothing out of it. So I think that's fair. At the end of the day,
well, you could make the argument. Say somebody bought, or no, I bought that N24 card for $8,000. So I hear you're spending $1,500 to get there, but I spent $8,000 on my Bo card, and by the way, I spent $7,000 on my deck for you to play with. So I'm in for $15,000. So if I'm in for $15,000, you're in for $1,500. How about we pay back my $15,000 before your $1,500 in travel costs?
Well, you're getting a blast box. So what do you call that? In promo cards, right? So what do you call that? It's like 10,000, a couple hundred here, there. But these are why contracts are in place, just like Cody said, right? So you asked what I would want. That's what I would want. And I think to someone who did own all of those cards, because there is that asterisk in there, right? It's if I win money. There's a chance I don't win money, right? So if I win money, those travel expenses are covered. So it's a risk on the driver's side too. You're going for the experience too. I mean, the National Card Convention is like so freaking cool. Like Bo Jack's, the booth is amazing, but like there's so much cool shit there. Like you can explore that place for 5 days straight. Now, you can also sit at the Bo booth for 5 days straight and have an amazing time too. So
that's what most people do.
Exactly.
We didn't have to move last year because like Tom Brady was 10 feet away at the, was it an arena or whoever he's involved with? Like they were, he stopped by there. All right. Let me ask you this. I have a N25 card. Is is the same setup for N25. Is it the same as N25 as N24?
I think N24 is a little bit more value. Well, it's more valuable already. The market shows it.
Yep.
So N24 is more valuable, but there's also the aspect of why it's more valuable, and the reason why it's more valuable is the N24 is going to be a forever ticket, right? Or so we've heard, right? That's always subject to change. N25 will be for the next few years, also subject to change. You never know. So that value add to the N24 is different than the N25. I don't know if that necessarily changes it for the owner driver type of concept though. Just because it's the N24 is more valuable, I don't think that changes that. But the N25 right now is more accessible because it is, I just bought one for $5,000, which is a lot more accessible than the only N24 on eBay as of right now is like 12. So, you've got that aspect to it too. But to your point before, Slappy, like, yeah, I spent $15,000 on this deck. Like, yes, you have. Why aren't you going to the National if you spent that much money on your own deck?
Because the way I could afford that $15,000 is that I have an important oil deal that I have to attend to down in Louisiana. I can't make it.
Fair enough. Well, I'll be there for you, and I'll get you your blast box.
So and then speaking of blast box and cards, N24 and 25 is that this is where I guess I missed where they set it in stone. And this is what's really hard. So over 80% of the community is not on Discord. In America, over 80% of people are not in Discord. And Bo Jackson Battle Arena has an official Discord. For people who don't know what that is, I'm sure there's plenty of people watching on YouTube who don't know that. It's because, again, 8 out of 10 Americans don't use Discord. They don't know what it is. But it's a social app, and there is a official community in Discord. And this is where they communicate a lot of information. And sometimes it just comes conversationally. It's not most of it's conversational. It's not an announcement. And I guess I missed it where they did state that N24 Apex playmakers and N25 Apex playmakers and N24 Apex Madness teams and N25 Apex Madness teams will all get a blast box. Now they didn't, I haven't heard if it's confirmed. Last year, there's a print run of 750 boxes. If there's 750 again, obviously they can do this. So they're both going to get that. So to your point about like, really, there's not much difference in our contract between N24 and N25. We're both getting the promo cards, blast box. And actually, ironically, the pool's a little bit different, right? Is like more money for N25. So that would be interesting. But let me ask you something. What happens to, and I don't keep up in Discord as much as I should. I haven't seen them talk about it. What happens with N26 and N27 and N28? Does everybody get a blast box? And do all N25 and N27, when they're having the Apex Madness and the Apex Playmaker tournament, to play in N27, can you use a 24, 25, 26, 20? And let me ask you this question. To play in the N25, the Griffey N25 Apex tournament, can you use an N24 card, or do you need the N25?
I believe you need the N25, but that is not, I don't have confirmation on that.
I'm 90% sure too. It's like I was asking, and N28. So let me ask you this: on N28, when they have the N28 tournament, can you only play the N28 with an N28 card? Like you mentioned, the Griffey is going to be good for a couple of years, or the N25 card will be good for a couple of years. Well, what do you mean it's good for a couple of years? So like next year, is there going to be a alpha tournament with just the N24 card? And then there is going to be the Michael Jordan, N26 card. And there's the N26 tournament. And then there's another one where you can take either a 24, 25, or 26. Where does the Griffey N25 come in next year? Is next year's Michael Jordan N26 just N26 only?
I think these are phenomenal questions. I'm not the person to answer them. I'm not going to answer that for the Bo Jackson Battle Arena team, because I know for a fact they have plans behind the scenes that goes much deeper than what my even understanding of the tickets could possibly begin to be. So like we've seen them do crazy things that, are off the wall, that it's like, oh shoot, dude, we never even thought that would happen, or we would do something with that. But like knowing the team, they're always going to find a way to make sure that your cards have some sort of monetary value, substantial value, right? They're not going to ever try and nuke a card, right? So I think that like the N25, even after this, couple year life cycle of Griffey and the playability aspect of it, and let's say that goes away for tournament entry, there's always going to be a way for them to reactivate that card to be valuable and usable.
I can tell you right now, it's like, how about a tournament at National every year for, I'll spend their money, $50,000, and you have to have end card from every year. Like,
there you go.
That's the only way you can compete. And how many people have that? So it's 5 people competing for $50,000. But the chase to get those cards, right, that elevates the value. But if the print run of the blast box, and again, we don't know what the print run will be this year, but if it stays at 750 and you're adding 99 Bo cards every year, it's a problem in the 8th year, right? We can go 7 years and that's 693 boxes that are required. And that's if everybody with a Bo card actually shows up and
plays, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, this past year for the N24s, I don't know. There were, like I said, there were only 10 teams in Apex Madness. I think it was around 20 for Apex Playmaker. So it was like you're getting basically a third. Expect that number to go up on N25. But say it's half, then you're looking at a runway of 15 years. So they could give everybody who shows up at National with any of the end cards a blast box, Apex Madness or Apex Playmaker, and you could actually go 15 years before you have to increase the print run or do something different.
Right. That's true. I mean, things are gonna change. I like your idea though. If you collect all the end tickets at some point, because at some point that becomes a collection. That doesn't just become a card or two cards. It becomes a collection, right? And just like we see with the Power Gloves right now, that's a collection, and that is a benefit or an added value to completing a collection, right? So if that becomes a thing and it's like collection, Power Gloves, N24. I mean, shoot, dude. I mean, N28. Let's say N28. We are at N24, N25, N26, N27, N28. That's 5 cards. N24 right now is like $10,000. And then if you do 5K for the next 4 years, you're at 30K just to be a part of that collection tournament, right? So,
by the way, while you were talking, a Bigler said, don't forget the blitz brackets. There's a lot. Actually, what we really should do, and it'd be great if we could, I don't know if we could get somebody from the Bo team to come on, just talk about what's happening at National, what they already know. Of course, things are going to change. One thing I still want to cover before we move on to SCG Con and the instant jumbo sale is the power level of the Bo ticket. This doesn't really get talked about. Like I saw somebody newer saying like, well, why is the power 110? So it's kind of interesting. Like when the game first started, when we had those N24, I call them the macadamia sets. If you've been to Hawaii, they look like those macadamia nut trays you get at the ABC stores. But in those macadamia sets is that, the power levels were 55, 60, that's where they were starting and going up. So 110 back then was high. And I think, I think when they created it, they weren't thinking in terms of, okay, this is going to go 20 years or 100 years or whatever. We need the power to stretch out a lot. You've got, I'm thinking they didn't think at the time, like, yeah, these should be 250. I mean, they could have changed it the following year, but it's interesting, right? It's almost like this is what we did the first year. Got to keep that the same the second year. We don't want, and I could see why, by the way, Frenchie is a huge collector. If you may increase the power for N25, would that make the original, the N24s, less desirable? So I could see them not increasing the power only because Frenchie does not want to take away from the Genesis collection.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if the entire plan was always just 110. Because, if they thought that, hey, we're going to have 200 power cards, 110 becomes your like perfect, like it's a ticket, it's a collectible, it's not as playable, right? So, I know we play with very expensive cards in Bo Jackson Ballerina. We play with $10,000 cards in some cases, right? In the Apex.
And more. Yep.
Yeah, even more. So like, that's, I think you got to think about that too, to an extent.
I I wanted to bring up, just so people can, sorry, one of the things I wanted to show is, let's see, I want to show the card that we're talking about, so that we can bring it up. Actually, Soothing, can you talk for 1 second while I pulled up the wrong card, and I want to just get that right card. Oh, let's see.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I will be at the National. Team Valley will be at the National. We'll be showing up. So I hope that everybody who's watching will be able to make it there. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be super, super fun. There's going to be lots of money on the line, lots of prizes, lots of promo cards, blast boxes. It's going to be an experience, but there it is.
All right, so that's the card we're talking about, just so people know. This is, of course, it says 25. You can see the National Card Show up in the upper right-hand corner before it says serial number 3 of 99. What's it worth, Bo Jackson Battle Arena? Of course, College 31 selling his N25 card during the taping to Mr. X. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that show where we look at different card values, and we have a panel of experts who talk about what the value is, including Rob from radishpriceguide.com, who looks at the data and talks about where the sale price is.
What was the final price on that?
Yeah, I know. I keep thinking about like what did you say you ended up buying yours for? 5K? I want to say at the end of it, he gave up that and one other card. And I think it was a little bit over $5,000. And actually, you want to know something right now? Did I share the audio? Let's see. Actually, if I use the chaptering, then I can go. All right. So for his entire collection is that you can see that do you hear the audio, Soothing?
No
Okay.
audio.
All right. That's good that there's no audio. That way we can continue to have the audio. So his entire collection of his 10 cards that he brought, you can see right there, 10,000. What's driving it was that Bo 25 card, obviously. So the panel came out with a low value of 75.65, high of 10,275 at 89.75. But when we look at what Mr. X, that's what he wanted. He wanted to, he was making an offer for the Bo 25 card and the decap super non-auto. So the low estimate, you can see in the corner, 5,500. High was 6,200. What would you put the decap super non-auto at, Soothing?
That's a 145 super. I'd put that. I mean,
wait, you actually know what decap's super power level is? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. There are a couple hundred heroes in the Bo Jackson Battle Arena. But go ahead.
I don't think a super should sell for less than $1,000. I don't care if it's 140. I don't care if it's 180. I really don't think it should sell for less than that. I think we need to start realizing that supers are one of ones. They are the most sought after cards in the set. I think there needs to be more of a floor on them, but in a lot of cases we see them going for less. But I mean, I think they should be $1,000.
Okay, so $1,000 plus the 5,000 you said for the Bo 25 card, so that's $6,000. Now the 5,000 you did, was that a community transaction or was that an eBay sale? I assume
it was community, so it was just straight cash.
Okay, so it's the Mr. X's offer was $5,500, and so that was equivalent. And what we always try to do is say, because College 31's a big eBayer, he's a big collector, but he also moves his cards that he's not keeping as part of his collection. So for him, right, it's especially attractive. He just doesn't have as much time to work the community the way College used to do in the old days. So he's going to go with eBay. So the equivalent to Mr. X's offer was $6,350 for the super and for the Bo N25 card. So that would bring it down to his offer of $5,500. So you could look at it this way. Like if you got the 5,000 if you assign $5,000 in value to his N25 card, that meant he only got $500 for his decap super. Now, I will say we taped this 2 weeks ago, and I will say it's already like the announcements to how they've started coming out. The National Card Show is not until July 31st through August 2nd. It's the end of July, beginning of August. There's a lot of excitement, like especially with the Apex tournament happening in Milwaukee. So everything's timing. And the thing is, College he's a smart person. He takes money off the table. He's not going to compete. So he's like, it's a good time to sell. But with Bo Battle Arena, this is not financial advice. Things don't seem to ever come down. The singles market has come down, but sealed prices, the high value cards like the N25, they keep going up. So I think 2 weeks ago, for him to get $5,500 with no eBay fees, no 1099s, just sent straight to him, like that, I thought that was to make the deal like that while you're just talking about it, an equivalent 6,350. I think that was good. If he had held on, like, and he actually admitted, he's like, I think I can get a little bit more. He's like, but just the ease of doing the deal, like, let's do it right now. So. Yeah. I feel good your price point on where he was and what he was willing to concede.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a pretty good offer for it there at 5,500. But I like last year before the national N24 tickets. Do you remember what they were going for?
So before you make your point, there's a community member who ripped one on Lake Country Cards 2 weeks before national. They made him a $3,000 offer. He didn't respond like right away, and they revoked it after a few days. So they didn't even want to pay $3,000 for an N24 card. What were you going to say? What was that the worst you heard, or did you hear something worse than that?
No, well, so okay. So if we go 6 weeks before the national, we saw Bo tickets getting pulled every so often from Hobby Club. They were saying that's a $1,500 pull, and we were like, holy shit, that's crazy. What a huge card. I fast forward 3 weeks, that $1,500 card turned into $3K. Fast forward another week, we're a week away from nationals. Someone decides they want to go. They're willing to pay $4,500 for that ticket. We saw a $4,500 sale, and they showed up with the ticket and they played. After the national, tickets still started to go up. They didn't go down. They went down for like maybe a little bit, like $500 or something like that. But that $4,500 price set a new market. And then we were like, I was like, man, I should have bought my ticket. Should have bought an N24 right before national. And then, it was $5,500. And now fast forward 3 months, we're now selling them for $7,000. Man, I should have bought one for $5,500. Fast forward another couple months. Man, they're going for $10,000. I should have bought it when it was $7,000. Like, it's crazy to see the value of this card continue to skyrocket. And I love it for the community because it's really showing that people want to play in these games that have these huge cash prizes. And it's just showing too, like the Bo Battle team is creating monetary value with your cards. So the reason I bring that up is because the N25 ticket has slowly increased in price too. So if you're thinking about getting one,
not financial advice, but
they will go up higher in price, more than likely to follow the same curve as they did last year before the national. 6 weeks before the national, we'll start to see it kind of inch its way up. This is not financial advice, in my opinion. This is an estimation, market forecast, as you may say. But I think that is something we're going to see. So if you plan on going, maybe it's not a bad idea to start looking at maybe getting one.
I will say that I do have an outstanding offer, as I have a blast box for an N24 card. If anybody's willing to give up their N24, maybe somebody has 2 N24s and they have no blast box, we can do a trade.
There you go.
That's what I'm trying to get. Let's see. Yeah, it's Card Shark Sniper said that someone in the community sold their N24 for $9K in either November or December. I thought it was 10. Was it only 9? And I think, was it Yahoo Boy? I can't remember who it was. There was somebody who was talking about
your boy.
Yeah.
Yahoo Boy.
Yahoo Boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Love it. No, it's good. But yeah, I think it was 9K. And then I think we've seen some sales privately go for more than that too, at least some that I'm aware of. I know one was bought for 10K privately.
Right.
So
yeah.
They're raising in price, man. I mean, there's nothing, it's just happening. But they're very important to have, especially if you're going to play.
People who I was talking to somebody recently right before the Star City Games sale of the Jumbo and Hobbies, and they were frustrating and said, hey, I'm new to this community. I've been in it now a month. And if this is the way you're going to get product, people make parallels all the time. They're like, this is just like Panini. This is like Topps. You can't get product. So let's dispel some of the rumors. 100% you can get product. There's still product to this day in Dick's Sporting Goods. Do you have to work hard at it? Yes. Is there Chrome Sapphire and Dick's Sporting Good? No, there's not. You can 100% get Bo Jackson Battle Arena product. There's very little left, and you should go and check out your Dick's. But yes, there is still product left. And let's look at the cycle. When it started out, it was available in both Target and Dick's. I stopped in numerous ones. I was able to get it. The other thing is, for people who were part of the community, there was a pre-sale. They had guaranteed access to get the product. Hobby boxes.
Hobby boxes.
Hobby boxes.
Day one promos. Yeah.
Yes. And as the community grows, what they do is that they make it possible. Like, no, they can't go back and create product from a set in which you were not a customer, because they can't go back in time. That they don't build it that way. The community they have today is the community they have today. They printed for the community they had back then, but they take care of you moving forward. But the one thing to keep in mind, if the product sat on the shelf and you could go in and get it any day, is the value would not hold. And Jeff French some people get confused and think he's doing, I heard somebody saying, he could do this and make so much money. And it's like, you don't understand Jeff French. Like, you don't understand. Bo Jackson, I'm sure, doesn't need another dollar. Is that these guys are building a legacy. This is a passion project. They have fun. They love it. They truly love this community, and they love what they're doing.
Yeah. Just like Bo, even Bo with the supers, he's like, I want these to give to my grandchildren. Like, that's not money related.
Right.
That's legacy related. Right. So, yeah, you're fully right.
So when it comes to printing this, is that Jeff French knows he could print more, and he could, right now while it's hot, he could overprint this thing, and boom, I'm sure he could make millions just overprinting this thing. But that's not what he wants. He wants to create long-term value. And as a collector, a lifelong collector who cares about value, he's trying to craft it where, in the big cardboard hobby, you rip a pack and there's no value in there. And so he's creating packs where he doesn't want product to sit on the shelf. He never wants to see his product in the discount bin marked down so they can move it. He never wants to be the cheapest. He wants to be the best value in cardboard. And I would argue they are. So I just want to point that out, because some people, they were frustrated they weren't getting in the Star City game, Star City sale. And not everybody will be able to have a blast box. Not everybody will be able to have an LA championship box. These are things that are limited. Not everybody can get it, but you will be able to get Bo Battle Arena in the major sets. If you're active in the community and you're here now, you will have access to the next one.
Yeah, for sure. And talk about how fast, listen, it's a testament to how fast this community is growing that we saw 200 hobby boxes. Well, first of all, let's start with, just real quick, we'll start with the Cheryl Miller show. We saw 100 mega boxes and 25 hobby boxes, 40 hobby boxes. They sold out instantaneously. Like, it went from 100 to 0, right? And then fast forward a week to the SCG sale, we had less than 200 hobby boxes and just about less than 50 jumbo hobby boxes. Those sold out within like 7 seconds. Right. But that's just a testament to how fast this community is growing. Like that many people are wanting to get this product in their hands and rip it and open it and do whatever it is they want with it. But like, it's quick. If it was just to sit in that sale, that would be a bad sign. But it is a phenomenal sign that we saw it sell out so quickly.
All right. And so we're talking about Star City games. Some people might be familiar with them. They tend to be Magic the Gathering and TCGs, and they're a big seller online. But they also do Star City Games conventions, SCG cons. They go around the country. Last year, the World Championship for Wonders of the First, the Sister Project by Jeff French, was in Las Vegas. This year, it's going to be in Hartford, Connecticut in the fall. But they're in cities like Atlanta and Houston and Baltimore, and they travel around. It gives a chance for people to go in and play. Bo Jackson Battle Arena has partnered with SCG Cons, so they host their events. As part of the agreement they have, they are also able to sell some of the Bo Jackson Battle Arena product. The product that was going there was delayed because of factory issues. So they got theirs at the end. And then on top of that, I think, Mitch, we said we were going to bring the photo. I'll see if I can find it. But the driver who was driving the product to Star City Games ended up getting in a car accident. And I laugh only because he's okay. He or she's okay. So that's a good thing. But it's the passenger side absolutely dented in. Apparently, some of the product was actually damaged. You know what's funny? I never thought about this. Man, if you're the driver and like there's sealed boxes in the back and you have that crash and then the boxes spill open and you're seeing these things like, you know, do some of them like, yeah, you know, something, some were damaged. Like, I don't know. They just, you know, the hauler just, you know, they threw away a lot of trash at the scene. But so anyway, they got their product and they had less than 50 jumbo and what did we say? Was it 200?
Less than 200 hobbies. Yeah.
Hobby. Yeah. And so this was, again, we prepped people last week. We told folks like, this is going to be gone in 5 seconds. These are not bots. There's over 100,000 people trying to get this. It will go instantly, nothing to do with bots. And actually for bots, it probably wouldn't be the case. Now, what's happening with the jumbo box is that the jumbo box was very limited for Griffey. And we know there's not going to be a jumbo for Tecmo. And the way Jeff French has talked about, it sounds like there's no logic to making jumbos after Tecmo either, because he can take the 3 guaranteed autos in a jumbo, put them into 3 hobbies, and he can triple the product he has by going from jumbo to hobby, and he can serve more people. Again, talking about the increased demand and people wanting product. Well, that's one way you do it. So this jumbo there won't be any jumbo for Tecmo. Possibly this could be the last jumbo ever. So that should have driven up the demand for it. And one of the things they allowed Star City to do, people get confused. There was no MSRP on any product. There was no manufacturer suggested retail price. People continue to use that for the Griffey set. No, 0. There was not anything. They could sell it for whatever they want. You can talk about what LGSs or sports card stores sold Alpha for, and you can use that comparison if you want, but there was no recommendation from the Bo Battle team. So Star City Games was lucky to get their product late because the last hobby to sell, the jumbo to sell before they got their allotment was 3,500. So they said they were going to do it at market prices. And actually they were better than that. This is no joke. They offered them at $2,800. You might think $2,800 for a jumbo. That's $700 off the last eBay sale. That was much better than market pricing. Now, on top of it is the Bo Battle team sent out codes to 70 people for these 50 boxes because they wanted folks to have $1,000 off, and they made, you know, whatever agreement with Star City Games. The big question I asked people is like, are you going to take the time to put the code in? I can't believe I'm saying that, but when would you, in my life, I have never been like, do I have time to save $1,000? Like, I'm just too busy. I'm like, I don't want to save $1,000. I mean, I'll drive an extra 3 miles to save 5 cents on gas a gallon. Like, I'm saving that 1,000, except in this case, I didn't get a code. I didn't have to do it. But it sold out in just a couple seconds. And so Soothing, what did you go for, the hobby or jumbo? And were you successful?
Both and no. Obviously, if you guys know Valley Hit House, you know that there is Splatum and I Soothing or Mitch. So I was going after hobbies. He was going after the jumbos. So in theory, we went for both. Got neither one. No coupon and no luck.
And so you were on the page. Of course, we got the sales URL right away. We didn't have to wait for an announcement. Go there. So you were in there how many minutes before the sale went live? Went live at 2:00 Eastern.
I was in there 11 minutes prior.
Okay, 11 minutes prior, and you just started hitting F5 or refresh.
Yep.
Okay, and so you're going for the jumbos or the hobbies?
I was going for the jumbos.
Okay, and so you're refreshing, and all of a sudden it refreshes. And by the way, were you guys next to each other while you were going for the different? Okay, no. So all of a sudden, because I heard the hobbies went live first, but so all of a sudden the jumbos are there. And do you increase the quantity too, or you just go add to cart with the template?
Add to cart. You know, I've gotten greedy in the past when it comes to championship boxes by adding the alt art and the normal one and missed out. So I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm just going jumbo. We're going. So bang, checkout, bang. Card information, everything's in there. Bang, bang. Sorry.
Wait. Your credit card was saved. Your shipping.
Yeah, dude, I got it down. I was down to a science, and then sorry, this is out of stock.
So I ended up going in. I increased jumbo because I have an alpha jumbo. I have an alpha update jumbo, and if this is the last jumbo ever made, I have to have it for like. I'm not a big set person like everybody else. Like that doesn't drive me. I love ripping, but I have. which I'm gonna pull it out. Like I brought up a different show. I'll show you. Like people think I don't rip anything at all. I'll show you like this collage I made of all my boxes that I'm ripping. Like I rip a ton. My problem is once I start ripping, I won't stop. So people think like I don't rip anything. I do it because I can't stop myself. But so with the jumbo is that I need to have that jumbo for the collection. It's one of the few I have to do. So I took the time to increase it to 2. And because it's an expensive purchase, and so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the second one, but I want the second one to offset the cost of the first one. And so I put them in my cart. And the mistake I made, and I hadn't done Star City's checkout in a while, but they offered Google Pay. And I don't think they did a year ago, last time I used it. And I decided to go with Google Pay. And so I clicked on Google Pay, and unfortunately, because of my wife's active duty, I mentioned all the time, like we move every 2 years. I have like 8 addresses. First address that came up was Germany, like when we were living there. And I was like, that one I can't. There's no getting it back from the military post office. Like if they ship it to Germany to that APO address, I'm never seeing this again. So I'm like, crap. And then I'm like, well, if I'm going to change it, and I start scrolling down and like, makes sense. The good address, the right address was at the bottom. Like I had to scroll down through all these addresses, and I was like, so then I click on the right address and I click the button, and all of a sudden it takes me to the checkout screen. And so then I'm like, well, crap, I missed it because I just did the Google Pay, and usually it goes like that. Well, there was no point in using Google Pay because I had my credit card saved on Star City Games. So I go there, and then I'm like, crap, I still got to hit checkout. So I hit checkout, and I'm like, how is it possible I can have it at this point? All that stuff, and like you who's going so fast. So I end up hitting checkout. It says successful. So I haven't gotten my shipping notice yet, but so I ended up picking up 2.
Dang.
So
man, I don't know what I did wrong. If you're able to get one after all that.
Yeah. And I will say, I'll put this out there too. I have a blast box for an N24 card. I would also be willing to give one of my Griffey jumbos and an alpha update jumbo for, and actually I think I would do, I'll have to check what I have. I'll give 2 alpha update jumbos and a Griffey jumbo for an N24 card.
Oh, heard it
What do you
here
think?
first, folks.
If you had 2 N24s, would that be, I'm not saying you'd do it for sure. Would that be appealing to you? Two alpha update jumbos and 1 Griffey jumbo for an N24 card.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're going to hold it all day long, but like if you're reasonable and you're open to offers, like, would that be reasonable?
I think that'd be, I mean, we're talking, let's say $3K a box. They're about $9,000. So, I mean, maybe a little extra something on top, but yeah, I think that's reasonable. Maybe like, you know, like a super decaf or something that's worth about $1,000, and there you go. How
about I can just throw in an alpha update booster. Jeez, you're negotiating on behalf of it. All right, two alpha update jumbos, an alpha update booster, and a Griffey jumbo. See, now the alpha update booster, I think, actually has really, really sneaky value because of those bonus plays, and those boosters were kind of cracked. I did not rip any alpha boosters, and an alpha update I did, and I was just like, I fell in love with alpha update boosters. I loved in alpha. I had like, I don't know how many jumbos I had. I was able to clean out, you know, them here in my area, and they were like 500 each, 400 and 500 each. It's crazy. And yeah, I mean, I just ripping through them like was awesome. But then for update, I agree with you. The boosters were like, I mean, when they said boosters were going into hobby, I was like, heck yeah, guaranteed, you know, auto and all the hits of the alpha update booster. I'm like, I love, and the hobbies are amazing. They are. So soothing is Von Rat says, I always enjoy the hunt of whatever's getting released. Sometimes it pays off and sometimes it's a bust, but that's the game we play, which makes it even more collectible in my opinion. And yeah. You go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, it sucks that you miss out on a release of a new product, but it makes you want to get the next one just as bad. Like it's like, oh, need this championship box. And, you know, for the LA champion boxes, I love what they did. And Frenchie acknowledged it. I forget the announcement, but what they did with half, they took half the quantity, which I think it was a total of 500 and maybe 3. The total quantity for the alt and the regular, I think it's like 850 maybe. So it's 850 or 1200. Regardless, it's right in that number. So they took half the quantity from each, so say 400 to 600. And they did first come, first serve. Whoever's got the best internet connection, whoever's paying attention, and they could get it. Then they took the other half And they said, give us your email address. We'll random off codes for the other people. And I like that. I know some people say, no, it's not fair. Like, you know, the fastest can win, but I'm like, there still is a way. But I love Von Ratz's comment. I wanted to put it up there because for a lot of us is, you know, it's like getting that campsite at Yosemite. It's like, you know, like you got, when it goes live, like I remember like I had my wife, I'm like, you don't understand. You have to do this. And like, I didn't get anything, but like, Bo Jackson Battle Arena is like a Yosemite campsite. They both sell out that instantly. So I like what Von Ratz was saying is that it does, it makes the hunt even better. All right. I definitely want to hit the Radish price guide just to look at sealed prices, but anything else for, Portland. No, we got to get into Portland.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. How
Portland's
much time do you have today to talk? Oh, we gotta. Okay. So talk to us about Portland.
Yeah. Portland was great. It was awesome to meet everybody out there in Portland. One cool thing in Portland is we had a sealed event, the cash prize sealed event where there's $3,000 up on the line. Someone in the community, you guys may know him. His name is Quavo18. I'm sure you guys have seen him around if you're on the Whatnot game as well. But he actually took home first place and he had never touched a play card before. So he opened up the mega box, he built a deck, put it together, and ended up winning the entire tournament and went home with the cash prize. So just to piggyback off of like anybody can play, fit in where you can get in. I mean, sealed events are an amazing place to start. Get you to learn the game, you get cards from opening the box, and then of course you could walk away with some cash money, like Quavo did. So you know, it's awesome that I got to see that firsthand. And then, of course, the spec tournament, I ended up coming in fourth. Splatum ended up coming in second. Seatown ended up taking home that ticket there in Portland. So congrats to him. Wanted to beat him, though. Could tell you that much, man. It's always he's one of the best players.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and to get a ticket is even crazier. But yeah, it was super fun. Portland was amazing, but if you guys are planning on it, I would highly suggest going to Milwaukee, and I would highly suggest getting a team together for Apex Madness. It's going to be fun.
And just a reminder, folks, to play in Apex Madness, you just need a spec deck. So, well, you don't need that. To do that, you just need to assemble a 60 card deck. You can't have duplicates. But ideally, what you want, that the maximum base deck that everybody can have is 6 115s, 6 120s, 6 125 powers, up through 6 160s. You don't need to have the extra Apex cards. Your chances that you're not going to win it all. Let's be honest, you're not going to win it all, but it's a great chance to have fun and compete.
You might.
You could. There's a chance. You're telling me there's a chance. Yeah. I mean, I know Galileo, like I remember at one point talking to him at National this past year, and Galileo was like, he's got such a, just like he is in the breaks. He's just got such a calming, a soothing demeanor that he's like, he looked at me and he's like, I haven't flipped over an Apex card yet. And I've played 4 games so far. And like all his bangers he had, like he was playing just like you with your 115 through 160s. And let me tell you, Galileo had some, I don't know, 195s or whatever in his deck, and they were hiding and they were afraid to come out. So You're right, Soothing. Like all it takes is, I mean, they'll come at some time in the next 20 years. There'll be somebody who walks in with a 115 to 160 spec deck, and they will be crowned champion.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even with Playmaker, like right now, I've talked to some people that do fully believe that they could beat a full Apex deck with a spec deck, which is kind of crazy based on plays, right? So it's just about, going back to the owner versus driver thing. The driver has value. The driver offers value to the owner. So just like if your driver's Max Verstappen, how valuable is Max Verstappen?
It's I can't get the banner quick enough. I wish I had it like and Soothing, request your vote for union rep for the driver.
Oh man. Well, hey, look, I'm a big community guy. I want this community to grow and I want it to always be positive. So if I need to drop some contracts for some people and be the lawyer, I will. I'm here.
Yeah. So there's no financial advice on the show, but he's giving legal advice.
It's totally different.
Oh my god, we'll get in trouble all over the place. All right,
Oh, man.
I want to look at the Radish price guide. Is there anything else you want to talk about Portland?
Not about Portland, but maybe about South Carolina and Milwaukee this last weekend.
Okay.
But just that for some reason, Palmetto, awesome people, awesome card shop. The Palmetto Prince apparently has golden fingers and pulled 3 supers in 2 days. So that was a little, that hurt. That one hurt. Not gonna lie.
What were the supers?
Amon-Ra Alpha, Macho Griffey, and Wild Bill Griffey.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know. I was just looking at that Amon-Ra because, of course, Radish has got we've got the one that we started we were doing the 1-of-1 tracker when Alpha started. And I just changed the format for what ours looked like. And I was going through Alpha because when I was doing quality check to look at it. And I was looking at that Amon-Ra and I was like, I can't believe nobody's hit that. Like, that's one of the best cards. Like, it's such a great looking card.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Hopefully he can get, that Super Bowl and then like elevate his status. But it's a great name. He's got a great real name, a great hero name, great card, great artwork. Yeah. So that's awesome that Super Auto was hit.
Yeah. Bummer for Amon-Ra is that Iceman now is a part of the division. So, Caliber's got him down. Just saying.
Sure. Actually, speaking of Caliber, I think this happened after we went live last week, but did you see that about the money, the sponsorship money, the $2 million he donated for to provide kind of permanent housing for people who are homeless in Chicago, just with the cold snap. So taking all that sponsorship money and putting it over there. So just great to see. Like, I'm not a Bears fan, but I am a fan of Caliber. He's a great player and he's a great human being. So it's nice to see professional athletes, especially Bo Jackson Battle Arena home team heroes, in the news for doing great things and not bad things. For sure.
And everyone wants to talk about him painting his nails, but he does so much more than that. I mean, to be honest with you. But hey, he does paint his nails, but he's a baller.
All right. And so what else do we have for the what other 1-of-1s were hit?
Well, let's see what else was hit this weekend. This last week, there was those 3. There was the Ken Griffey Sr. Auto Super pulled. There was the Destroya Super Auto pulled. There was some other supers pulled. It's ridiculous. I mean, it was ridiculous this last week.
So it was a long show, but a soothing. You didn't see Radish Break Room last Wednesday, did you?
I didn't.
All right. So I'm going to pull something up since you haven't seen it yet. And
wait, I heard about it though.
Yeah, but you didn't see it.
I did not see it.
All right. So if we go ahead and let's see with the audio.
Jen's got tabs open, research unlocked. She's 10 steps ahead, always beats the clock. Breaking down the news like it's second nature.
Oh! What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Talking about
no way. So when we ended our show, and by the way, first of all, I acknowledge, like, I have broken on whatnot, and I have it's not the greatest, but it's not bad. So to have that be a break was Tex and Jen were dancing, and I am not as good a dancer as them. So I'm like, what can I do? And I'm like, well, and then I was so busy last week. I didn't have time to do, people are used to the nice intro, outro with the credits and everything. I didn't have time to do that. So I'm just like, all right, well, let's just play our theme song and these guys can dance while we go out. And so I just wanted to hide myself And so that's why I was just, I couldn't see the camera. I'm like, let's just get these packs up here so people will look at it, because it affects actually our algorithm too. Appreciate everybody who subscribes to YouTube, but credits, if we do credits too long, then it will show like people don't want to watch the content that much. So you got to give them a reason to stick around. So I'm like, all right, I'll rip packs. Like that'll get people to stick around. So the fact, and I was just telling my son, like, I have not hit any Unanimous Sandman, any Mr. October, any Bernie Williams. I'm a huge Yankee fan. I'm like, I can't hit a Yankee to save my life. And then to rip that, the super auto, his autograph is like an auto pen.
So sick.
It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm jealous. Wish I could say I know what that feeling's like. But I will know soon. Okay. I fully believe it is coming within the next week. Hopefully at least the next 2 weeks. I have full confidence in the fact that that is going to happen. I am breaking later today, and we'll be breaking the next couple days. We'll be breaking this weekend. And then of course the Super Bowl, right? The Super Bowl. I had this debate the other day for who I want to win the Super Bowl for only selfish reasons when it comes to championship boxes. If I'm looking at the teams, I would rather the Seahawks win than the Patriots win. But can you imagine that Draco alt-art box?
Yeah. So. No, gotta be sad. I'm gonna stick with my son on this one. New England's won enough. Like, let it go. It's that. People from Massachusetts are cocky enough. They don't need another. The fact that they can do it without Tom Brady is like, oh my God, they'll be so full of themselves. Like, turns out it wasn't Tom Brady that did it. It's just we're that good, always that good. So I'm Seattle. Seattle's gonna win. That's who's gonna be it. Like, but to your point, it's interesting from Frenchie's perspective. I would imagine he would rather have Draco win as well.
It's just the art, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I think if the Seahawks were to win, I think we would see a really, really sick JSN card.
What do you think it would look like?
Really cool.
I will say is that I don't know how much it would cost. Like, if you could get his agent to do it, but somehow get a blow up of the mock-up of Drake May's 1-of-1 card, get it to the field. So, when he's still on the field, kind of like, that's the dream, right? People say like, what are you doing? I'm going to Disney World. Like, what are you doing? And like, I'm getting that Best in Bo Battle Arena. That's right. Like, I mean, if he did that, like,
yeah,
that's what we want.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
All right. Well, I want to look at, let's wrap it up in a little bit, but let's look at the pricing. And so first of all, when we look at Radish Price Guide.
Got BoBA cards? Don't guess the price. Look up their value now at radishpriceguide.com.
Oh, I used to do so well with like no hiccups at all. So you got to do that. All right. So sharing the screen is that we're going to take a look at the, let's see, the price right now. And we've got Hobby Box, and I have to go back and look at the tape, Soothing, because we were talking like, when do you think it's going to hit 700? And like, of course, we've seen a $700 sale for a hobby, so we've hit it. Yep. And you can imagine, like, they're trying to, right now the buyers and sellers are fighting it out. The sellers don't want to sell below $700, and people are still used to we were in the 600s for such a short time. I think the buyers are like, well, I'm not done buying at the $600 level. You need to come back here for a little while. But you can look at, again, it's just I'm not a market expert, but when you look at the 30-day above the 90-day, that's significant. It's bullish. And you can see right now the 30-day average is $612. The 90-day average is $559. So you can see that price going up. Interestingly enough, the blasters, which are more accessible, right, to more people, not guaranteed hits, but everybody can access a blaster, right? Not everybody has 650, but most people can scrape together $55. It's interesting that the last blaster box sale was actually below the 30-day average, so trending downwards. I mean, I think this is a blip sale. It's been trending up recently, pretty much hitting that $60. But I don't know when it's going to cross the 90-day average when it first came out. And then, of course, you've got the double mega. It's now been trading right around 150. It really, we were at 129, 125 to 129 for the longest time. 150 was that last sale. And then, the Griffey hobby case is nice to look at. There's so few of them. I mean, it was 3,800 that somebody got it. It's not really worth talking about because it's such a unique sale. Only so many people have it. Only so many people can buy that. And then the update collector booster box. I know Doug from the Bo team mentioning that it was nice to see those boosters getting some love. And of course, Soothing, you mentioned earlier in the show just how full of hits those alpha update boosters are. And it's reflected in that $750 price. Before Hobby Club had their issues, they were buying, I think it was $700 is what the outstanding. Oh, why are you laughing?
Just what Von Ratz just said. I fully agreed with what he said, what he just said about the championship boxes.
Is it bad? Von Ratz says, is it bad? I don't care who wins. I'm just excited about what they do for the BoJack special boxes. And yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons to go for the Seattle one, right? It's like, it'd be interesting to see what they do for Seattle. Like we know what, they're going to do over in what they're going to do with Gravedigger. And is Gravedigger going to play? I know with his issues, his legal issues he's been having recently, but is he playing in the Super Bowl?
I'd imagine. I mean, they're going to need him.
Do you know about what's happened?
With Stephon Diggs?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the Cardi B situation, or are we talking about a different situation?
No, there's a more recent.
Oh, okay. Then I haven't.
I mean, because Foxborough is like 45 minutes from my house. So like I get nonstop Pats news all the time and they talk about it. And of course, if he has legal problems, like you hear about it because it's a local story.
Right.
So,
but I do want to mention one thing while we're on the price guide though, is the double mega price. That is another reason why sealed events are so amazing. Is you are more likely than not getting a sealed, not a jumbo, a sealed double mega for $85. And to piggyback off of that, in California, if you live in California, February 27th, this is a shameless plug, Slappy. You don't even know about this, but Valley is going to be running a sealed event at a shop called It's Time in Agoura Hills, which will be a sealed event. Double megas will be $85, and there will be some hobby box pricing. So more information to come on that, but February 27th, just north of LA.
February 27th, just north of LA. So make sure DeLeon Lakers, Yo-Yo, you guys, I'm going to out you guys there. Rody, make the trip up from San Diego. You guys can head up there to make sure you do that. You bring up a great point. Now we should mention, right? You can't see it's a sealed event. You have to rip them there, but that's what 90% of people want to do. And like to be able, now that you've seen what's in these boxes, again, what Soothing's saying is to get a double mega for $85. What a steal. So I can't wait to hear more about that. Soon. Let's see. All right. Anything else catch your eye though about that is I don't think you and I talked about pricing before Tecmo, but I think the pricing for Tecmo gets between 900 and 1,000 for the hobby box. That's where I think it ends up. You disagree?
No, I fully agree, especially with there not being a jumbo hobby. I think hobbies will see them go increased. I mean, on that price guide, we saw a jumbo hobby box sold for $35.50. Nuts. I mean, nuts, right? We just had a bunch sell for $2,800 on the SCG. Someone must have missed out and said, "I need a box," so they got it for $35.50. But we've been tracking jumbos around 3,000, $32.50, and just to see it increases every single day.
It will get to that comment in 1 second, Soothing. But with the jumbo pricing, it's interesting. What percentage of people who bought it they said it was less than 50? Let's just assume if they use the number 50, it's got to be close to that. But say they had 50 jumbos at the Star City sale. How many of those people do you think used a coupon, Soothing?
I mean, of the people that I know that got jumbos, like half of them used a coupon. Okay. Like of the people that I know. So obviously that's a small circle. But I would say like 40% of people probably used a coupon.
Okay, so you're thinking 20 people out of the 50.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a fair assumption. I mean, like, let's be real too. Like, let's say you're doing Bo Jackson on a budget to an extent, but you get this $1,000 coupon for a jumbo hobby box, and you can get one for $1,800. You're gonna stretch that budget just a little bit. You're gonna stretch it just a little bit. So if you got a coupon, you're more inclined to get the jumbo.
If you, and not financial advice, but if you have space on the credit card, you can buy for 1,800 and you can obviously sell for 2,800. The reason why I don't like, I think it's, you have a small, I think it's skewed the results with your friend circle. I think that the number has to be much lower than that. And the reason why is I think we would have seen selling pressure. If I got my jumbo for 1,800, right? And again, the discount code was only good for one. So if you had the code, you put 2 in your basket, essentially it was $500 off each. But say I bought 2, and so I can sell one for 2,800, take that 1,000 off of the other 1,800, I guess, is that, well, then I'm still stuck with 80. Anyway, I think if people have bought it at $1,800, for people who are just buying one, they don't want to hold on to it, they don't have the money, they're just looking to flip, I think we would have seen downward pressure in eBay. I think we would have seen a lot of sale prices for 2,800. People saying, I'm good with making 1,000 on this. In fact, I could see people going down, I'm good with making $500 with it. But we didn't see it. The price is actually, we saw the price increase from 3,500 to 3,550. And that sale, the fact that there was an eBay sale for 3,500 right before this came out, they offered it at 2,800 and it was an instant sellout in 5 seconds. I think the market looked at that and said, clearly these things are much more valuable than 2,800 because they sold out in 5 seconds. And this isn't a small price item. It's a $2,800 item. So to sell out in 5 seconds, holy cow, what is their actual worth? And of course, we don't know what it really is because eBay sales are so sporadic, but we do know it's far, far above, 2,800, right, Sue?
Yeah, 100%.
So we're all right. Well, I'm not going to make you guess on there. So by the way, Card Shark Sniper said B-Dub is running a sealed event this Saturday here in Kentucky. Will be my first event. Can't wait to meet people from the community and rip a mega. Hey, Card Shark, if you ask B-Dub to send you a link, you can send it to me and I will put it in the description. Also, it helps in the comments. People read the comments of this. And so if you put it in there, that'd be a great way. You can do it even after we're done live. And actually, Soothing, if you don't have a link to your event yet in California.
Well, we'll have something soon. There's going to be some content coming too. I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for breaking the news here, though.
Yeah.
All right. So, Soothing, anything else we got to hit for this week in Bo?
Other than I am going to hit a super this week on Valley Hit House. So break-in today and then next few days.
All right. Well, I hope you had some explosions.
Yes. So we got that. And then I hope to see as many of you guys as possible in Milwaukee. Would love to see you guys out there. That's February 20th to the 22nd. And there's going to be some heat pulled here in the next couple weeks leading up to that. And I believe Valley will be breaking in Milwaukee, possibly with Bazooka as well.
What do you believe? Like it's coming up soon. Are you going to be breaking with him or you're not?
Yes. Yes. And then after that, we'll be doing our California event and we'll be breaking from the California space, which will be really cool. I'm excited for that opportunity and what could come of that too. So stay tuned with that. There's a lot of things that could be coming out of it. And then I believe March 6th to the 8th is going to be Richmond. But we won't get into it. I will be at the Shattering. So the sister project, Wonders of the First.
That's right. And people should know for Richmond, I can't stress this enough, is that the event they're having for Wonders of the First, the sister project, will take all hands on deck. They probably will not have the event canceled, but just know that it's going to be mainly staffed, I think, by the SEG Con people. So I don't want to discourage people. If you have no interest in the sister project, and again, I'm not a player as much as a collector. I'm not into TCGs and I play them all the time. I try to with my son who likes them, but if you're not into that, go again, like everything that Soothing's saying, it's a sealed event. It's a chance for you to get product, but just know that expect your expectation should be low. Don't expect to see a lot of community members. Don't expect to see all the community members you're used to, because some of them do like the Wonders. Don't expect to see team members there with the support. Expect to see a lot of SCG Con staff supporting you who don't always know everything. So if you set those expectations low, because I just don't want people who are like, you know what, everybody talks about these SCG Cons. We're going to drive 12 hours. This is going to be a great event. And then they show up and like, why do they always talk about how great it is?
Well, no, go ahead. I was just going
to
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say too, to your point, like with the team not being there and it mainly being a part of SCG Con folks, like I can't stress this enough, is like Bo Jackson Battle Arena is still a new game, right? In the grand scheme of things, we don't have the long rule book that Magic the Gathering has or anything of that has, right? So there's some things that still we are learning as we go. And because there's not an exact rule book out there, just please be respectful to these judges. They are doing what they have accessible to them and making those decisions. And at the end of the day, that judge's decision is the decision. And whether that's the right decision or not the right decision, that is the decision. So it's just please just be respectful to them. I mean, we're all human beings. People make mistakes. I even make mistakes ruling stuff in the Discord League every once in a while, but trying to clean myself up and make sure that it is set up and ran through the team first before I make any big decisions. But just know things happen, man. Just be respectful. They're human just like you.
One thing that I do want to share, and my apologies, Soothing, I'm getting back to my normal pattern so I can be a little bit more prepared, but I do want to share, you sent over, and I didn't have a chance to get it set up, but I've got to get this guy, because you sent this video. I was actually looking for the commercial so we could end with the Valley Hit commercial that you had created. I love your commercials. But let's take a look at this right now, though.
It's a nuke. It's a nuke. It's a nuke. Dr. J.
Oh my goodness.
College. 170.
Oh my goodness.
170. Oh my goodness. Let's go, Jennifer.
That is 180.
180.
Oh my goodness, it's a nuke, chat.
Oh
my goodness.
Buckets
up, baby. Oh my goodness.
On.
Come on. Come on.
This
How about a hex?
No way.
How about a hex? 170 power. Oh, it's a 101! Highway to Helton! 1 of 1!
Oh, I know that we ended up playing that last week, but I just had to bring that back up again. Dude, your excitement. I gave Cursive such a hard time when he hit his 1 of 1, and I'm like, what did you hit? What did you hit? It's like I couldn't hear the audio on it. Is that I appreciate your style, because one of the things I will say, a pet peeve of mine for some breakers is when you hit a bionic. Well, first of all, you can hit a bionic whatever. You shouldn't get excited. If you hit the bionic super, don't get excited. That's a bionic super. I'm kidding. You can get excited about bionic super, but
like
don't hit a bionic fire battle foil and be excited about that. Like, you can talk about the card, educate the people. So that's I think one of the things, like, sometimes people do that, but I love your authenticity when you hit those incredible cards, and you make me jealous, and you make me want to rip packs because I want to rip cards like that. All right, we're live. This is this weekend, Bo, with Soothing and Slappy, and you mentioned you're going live. And so one more time, East Coast, when do you go live?
5 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. real time.
Yeah, lights on, screens up, here we go. Welcome to Radish Digital's weekly show, breaking down the plays, the pulls, the plans, straight from the floor of the battle arena stand.